All right, let's talk about starting your investment journey from square one. Today, we're going to build a complete playbook, step by step, from laying that solid foundation all the way to mastering the right mindset. The goal here to get you started with real confidence and help you sidestep all those classic rookie mistakes that trip so many people up. Okay, let's jump right in. Just think about that for a second. What if you could begin right now, but with a map that lets you avoid all the common traps, all the stress, all the second guessing? Well, that's exactly what this is. This is your playbook to start investing with confidence from day one. So here's our game plan. We're going to start from the very beginning by building a solid financial base. Then we'll map out your personal investing game plan. After that, we'll look at the absolute simplest way to get started. And we'll wrap up with the investor's mindset, which honestly is the real secret to all of this. Okay, first things first. Before you even think about buying a stock or a fund, we have to get your financial house in order. Now look, I know this isn't the sexy, exciting part of investing, but trust me, it is the most critical. This is the stuff that keeps you in the game when things get tough. And this number right here, wow. It shows you just how fragile things are for so many people. Nearly 40% of adults can't handle a tiny $400 emergency without borrowing money. If you jump into investing without a safety net, one flat tire could force you to sell your investments at the absolute worst possible time, turning a temporary dip into a permanent loss. So, before a single dollar goes into the market, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to build these three pillars. Think of it as level one. First, you got to attack that high-interest debt. We're talking credit cards, payday loans, anything like that. Second, build up an emergency fund with 3 to 6 months of your essential living expenses. And third, get a crystal clear picture of what's coming in and what's going out each month. You need to know exactly how much you can consistently afford to invest. I love this quote because it just nails the problem, right? The water you're pouring in is your hard-earned money. The bottle is your investment account. And that hole, that's your 20% interest credit card, just draining everything away. You can keep pouring and pouring, but you're losing money way faster than your investments could ever hope to grow. And look, the math here, it just doesn't lie. Paying off a credit card that's charging you 25% interest is the same as getting a guaranteed 25% return on your money. You can't get that anywhere else. The stock market, on a good long-term average, gives you maybe 8 to 10%. You're never going to win that race. It's a losing battle from the start. All right, foundation is solid. Now we can move on to part two, crafting your personal game plan. This is where you get really clear about your goals, because why you're investing determines how you should be investing. So seriously, take a second. What is this money for? Is it for retirement way down the road? Is it for a down payment on a house in, say, 4 years? Maybe it's for that dream trip around the world in a decade. Your answers here are going to guide every single decision you make from this point on. Here's a super simple rule of thumb. If you need the money anytime in the next 5 years, it absolutely does not belong in the stock market. Period. You keep that safe, maybe in a high-yield savings account. But for any goal that's more than 5 years away, that's the money you want to invest. That gives it enough time to grow and to ride out any bumps along the way. So where does this money actually go? Well, you want to look for these kinds of accounts. If your job offers a pension with an employer match, that is literally free money. It's a 100% return on your investment instantly. You have to take it. Then see what tax-advantaged accounts are available where you live, like an ISA in the UK or a TFSA in Canada. Letting your money grow tax-free is a massive, massive advantage over the long run. Okay, foundation is set, goals are crystal clear. Now we get to the fun part, actually putting your money to work. And the best news is, the most effective way to do this is also the simplest. It all boils down to two really powerful ideas. The first one you've probably heard of. They call it the eighth wonder of the world, right? It's the magic of compound interest. All it means is that your money earns returns, and then those returns start earning their own returns. It's like a tiny snowball that you start rolling at the top of a very long hill. It starts slow, but by the end, it's this unstoppable force of nature. And just look at these numbers. It's kind of crazy. $100 a month. That's it, consistently. After 30 years, you'd have over $140,000. But here's the wild part. Of that total, you only put in $36,000 yourself. The other 104 grand, that's just growth. That's the power of starting small, staying consistent, and just letting time do all the heavy lifting for you. The second big idea here is diversification. And this analogy is just perfect. You wouldn't sit down to a dinner plate that was just chicken, right? No, you need some veggies, some carbs, a balanced meal. Investing is exactly the same. You never, ever want to bet your entire future on one single company. So how do you build that balanced plate easily? For pretty much any beginner, the answer is index funds. It's so simple. With a single purchase, you can own a tiny little slice of hundreds or even thousands of the biggest companies in the world. It is the easiest, most effective way to spread out your risk. You stop trying to pick the winners and you just own the whole game. And that brings us to our final section. And honestly, this might be the most important piece of the entire puzzle. You can have the perfect strategy, the perfect funds, but without the right mindset, none of it matters. The real secret to building wealth is all about psychology. This is one of my favorite financial studies ever. It's just incredible. Fidelity took a look at which of their accounts performed the best over a long period. And you know who the winners were? People who were dead or people who had forgotten they even had the account. It turns out the less you mess with your portfolio, the better it does. So how do you become one of those forgetful investors with the best returns? Simple. You automate everything. You take your own emotions and bad decisions completely out of the equation. Set up an automatic transfer from your bank to your investment account for the day after you get paid. Then automate the purchase of your chosen funds. It becomes effortless, consistent, and it protects you from yourself. And you're gonna need that protection because let's be real, the market will drop. It's gonna crash. Look at this chart. You see every major crash in modern history. The Great Depression, the 2008 crisis, the COVID crash, they all felt like the end of the world at the time. But look what happens after every single one. A recovery and then new all-time highs. And this just drives the point home, doesn't it? When you zoom out and look at the big picture, all those terrifying crashes just look like little speed bumps on a very long, steady climb upwards. Your job isn't to predict the speed bumps. It's just to stay buckled in for the whole ride. So we'll end on this thought. Another market crash is coming. That's not an if, it's a when. But now you have the framework, you have the playbook. The only question left is, when it happens, will you be ready? Will you have the discipline to see it through? If you want to see more videos on building wealth, go ahead and subscribe. I post every single day. And if you're really serious about this, check out my playlist Financial Freedom Steps. The link is down in the description. I will see you tomorrow. Now go get started.